Assalamu alaikum, my name is Hassan Diyab and this is the video about the 30 Years' War. The 30 Years' War took place mostly in Eastern Europe, starting approximately 1618 and ending around 1648 with the Peace of Westphalia. The cause of the 30 Years' War had various causes, many of which were religious and political. Several major causes include religious conflicts between Catholics and Protestants, problems with the Peace of Augsburg and the Holy Roman Empire, the expansion of nations such as France and Spain, rivalries between dynastic families such as the Habsburg. What was the main religion cause? Well, in 1555 a truce was made between the Holy Roman Empire and the Peace of Augsburg. Catholics grew alarmed because Lutherans had acquired several German bishoprics. Calvinists had converted several princes. Lutheran princes formed the Protestant Union, and Catholics went against the union with the Catholic League. The first violence occurred when the Catholic King of Bohemia closed several Protestant churches. This was the initial start of the main cause. The cause of the 30 Years' War were not only limited to religious reasons. Conflicts between royal families such as the Habsburg causes the war as well. The spread of powerful countries also led to the start of the war. While the Catholics were retaliating against the Protestants, the Spanish Habsburg family supported the goals of Australian relatives, which involved the unity of a strong Catholic empire. Now let's talk about the spread of countries in the war. The 30 Years' War is mainly divided into 4 phases, but they were more later. These phases involved the countries of Denmark, Bohemia, Sweden, and France. These countries were divided mainly because of religious conflict, as several were under Catholic rule and some were under Protestant rule. The kings for these countries were the main cause of the division between nations because of their religious views and ways of ruling. Let's talk about the Bohemian phase. It was the very first phase of the 30 Years' War. It was mainly characterized by a civil war in Bohemia between Catholics and Protestants. The Bohemians fought for independence from the Habsburg and religious liberty. Eventually, Protestantism was wiped out as Ferdinand II, the leader of the Catholic League, forced Protestants to convert in 10 years from being Bohemian to being completely Catholic. The second phase, otherwise known as the Danish phase, other people calling it the phase of the war, happened in 1625 to 1629. Basically, the army gained victories throughout northern Europe. Then a Protestant king, Christian IV of Denmark, experienced a lot of victories, while inside Britain army loyal to him and fought for the Catholic League when divided Catholic forces. Once this happened, religion was a big cause of war. When it reached the end of the phase, the power of the Habsburg had reached its maximum. The edict of restitution was passed, so only Catholic and Lutherans practiced faith. Now let's talk about the third phase, also known as the Swedish phase. It first began when the Swedish king Gustavus Adolphus in Germany. Adolphus was a strong Lutheran. The Swedish decided to join in the war. Once they joined the war, the Habsburg wished to unite German city-states under their rule. When Gustavus died in battle at Bredenfeld, the French entered the 30 Years' War. The fourth and final phase, also known as the French phase, which took around in 1635 to 1648. French Cardinal Richelieu declared war against Spain, forming an alliance between the French, Dutch, and Swedes, with additional support from the Scots, Finns, and mercenaries. The German conference was also looted and burned. The war still dragged on as no nation had the power to win quickly. It was not until the Peace of Westphalia in 1648 which was the only peace that was achieved. The Peace of Westphalia marked the end of the 30 Years' War. The treaties were published in 1648 and were turning a point into the history of Europe. They recognized the sovereign authority of German princes. After the Peace of Westphalia, the emperor's power was limited and the Holy Roman Empire remained loosely knit. The 30 Years' War was consistent of battles, pillage and plunderings, and lootings. However, several events stood out more than others in terms of how Europe's history was affected. They were Battle of White Mountain, Battle of Bredenfeld and Lutzen, and Battle of Nordingen. The 30 Years' War resulted in both positive and negative effects in Europe, although it considered to be one of history's most destructive wars. The events of the 30 Years' War have shaped Europe. Many of its results still remain as part of Europe today.